Tonight I'm reviewing Hamburg Demonstrations by Peter Doherty.
I don't love anyone, you're not just anyone, you're not just anyone to me.
If you were looking for a poster boy for wasted talent, Peter Doherty would be a good contender. Propelled to fame in the early 2000s with British indie rockers the Libertines, his career since could charitably be described as shambolic, thanks to his crippling heroin addiction and tabloid-baiting lifestyle overshadowing his post-Libertines output with the Baby Shambles and, in 2009, his debut solo album Grace Wastelands. Hamburg Demonstrations is the follow-up to that record, and as with Doherty himself, abounds with contradictions. Reportedly more sober than at any point in his recent career, his perpetually wobbly vocal delivery gives the impression of a man one gin away from falling off the end of the bar. Hell to Pay at the Gates of Heaven, meanwhile, is a jaunty, almost Pogues-like ditty about the harrowing terrorist attacks at the Bataclan, while spirited opener Collie Kibber finds this very British songwriter singing in German. There is substance to the album's drunken swagger, and in Flags of the Old Regime, a tribute to Amy Winehouse, a tragic, tender beauty. But we don't really need two versions of I Don't Love Anyone, But You're Not Just Anyone, while A Spy in the House of Love should have been abandoned at the demo stage. Overall, though, there is an unwashed romance to Hamburg Demonstrations that is, at points, compelling. It may not be Doherty's greatest moment, but it will hopefully be the first step in that direction. Bernard, what did you think?
He is the most overrated piece of pop rubbish in decades. Not without talent, but vaulted to fame on decadence and wasted what little he had. You mentioned the Pogues in there. There's an example of someone who had talent, wasted a lot of it, but still managed to produce stuff. What has he done? What has Doherty done to justify the talent, the claims of talent?
Well, I think a lot of it's still stretching from that first Libertines album, isn't it? The first two Libertines albums.
Which I think were massively overrated.
Well, I agree with you on that. I think perhaps they are maybe one of those bands that were very big in England and perhaps didn't translate. But he nonetheless has that reputation as this. And you know what? Perhaps his lifestyle has played into actually building that reputation up, that tragic kind of one step away from dying and, you know, will he be alive today? And that's built into the mythos of who Pete Doherty is.
I think it's tuneful at times, but it's exactly what you said. It's shambolic. You get a snatch of a really nice tune in there and you know, pretty okay vocals. That's about as far as I could go with it, really. I think what I think the public is going to feel about it is that it's not good enough to sort of forgive his misdemeanors. I think he really needs to put something really, really exquisite out there for people to accept.
But do they need to forgive him? Like, do they need to forgive the misdemeanors? I don't know.
I think his connection with Amy Winehouse and he's been linked to other people who obviously have, you know, tragic lifestyles, and he seems to sort of come away unscathed. And I do think people will have an issue, you know, buying his record, listening to his music because of that bad taste, unless it's a beautiful piece of art, which I just don't think this one will elevate him to that level.
I think that's the issue, regardless of his past badness or whatever, is that this music kind of seems like it's a little bit sort of done. Like, there's some beautiful melodies, he's got that really nice old style melodies, but you know, you've got your Arctic Monkeys and Jamie T, that maybe he was a bit under the weather when they were putting out music. He might have been in recovery, so he didn't hear their albums. And it's like, Jamie T did this from his first record, this kind of stuff. And he was much younger and sort of more full of creativity. So I got a little bit like, oh, sorry, Pete, it's kind of been done.
Yeah,
quite evolved.
Yeah, I think I was just, romance is a strange word to use with him, because I don't buy into that romance of the heroin addict. But I do feel like there is just something in an age where records are so produced and everything's so perfect, and so the fact that there's a record here. I mean, apparently he just turned up to the studio one day unannounced and was just like, oh, I'm here to make a record.
I'd well believe it, having listened to it. I believe
what about
that.
how annoying for the other dudes?
Yeah.
We've got this, okay, I guess we've got to record Pete Doherty now.
Do you know what?
Gosh.
It's a rarity, I think, these days, where everything is so micromanaged.
So
and I quite
nice
like that
freedom, yeah.
And there are a couple of songs on there which I thought were really beautiful, in particular the tribute to Amy Winehouse. And there's some good pop songs. It's not a great album by any stretch. Well, I'm going to give this a middling 3 stars. Could do better, could have been a hell of a lot worse. Glad he's alive.
Anything or mostly everything, you're dropping out of life.